Hey, welcome back to the Club Junkie podcast. Hopefully you're having a great week. It is another Thursday, and here it is cold and rainy, and the rain is supposed to stop before league, but it's still going to be cold. So hopefully we get a nicer day than what the weatherman is predicting, but you can only do so much. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Vokey and the brand new Titleist Vokey SM10 wedges. Nothing can do more to sharpen your short game than a fresh set of grooves, especially if those grooves are spin milled into a new Vokey design SM10 wedge. Bob Vokey and his team are always grinding, and the work shows in SM10, already a favorite among the best wedge players in the world. The SM10 was designed around the three keys to great wedge play: shot versatility, distance and trajectory control, and maximum spin. Top players around the world look for the look and feel of Vokey wedges. The SM10 lineup includes a new T-grind, a low bounce option that encourages real artistry around the greens. So score some fresh grooves with Vokey SM10 and see how sharp your short game can be. Find your nearest Vokey fitter or use the online wedge selector tool to unlock the right SM10s for you at Vokey.com. So yeah, we're back. League last week was okay. I shot a 40. I did some things, some things went really well. Other things didn't go well. I will say that I only hit driver once, but I actually, just crushed that Callaway Elite Triple Diamond TD. Just kind of even hit it off the heel and hit a great ball that just kind of had a gentle draw back in the middle of the fairway. That was absolutely perfect. Wedges were pretty good. Hit some really good wedge shots. And then, the things that didn't go well, I'll tell you what, the Ping G440 LST 3-wood, I don't know what it is. I was hooking everything, just hitting everything left with that thing. It kind of cost me a shot on 6. I hit it OB, had to drop, ended up hitting a fantastic second shot and made bogey from there. But then, on the 9th hole, hooked it again, didn't put it out of bounds, but I was like in the trees. I had like one of those spots where you had like 2 feet to maybe move the club back, just punch it out, and then ended up hitting a pitching wedge kind of fat. So I made a bogey there to shoot 40. If I could have just hit the green there, just not hit that fat shot, I would have got it on the green, probably 2-putted, and walked out of there with a 39. But oh well, the swing felt okay. I started off actually really good. I was hitting the ball solid. Like I said, I didn't hit a great tee ball off one. I hit the 3-wood and kind of heeled it into the fairway out there, but still hit a decent shot, and then hit a great, those Cobra 3DP Tours, hit a great 8-iron that actually kind of flew the green. 8 or 7, I can't remember the yardage. It was either 160. It was 160, I think it was 7-iron. It was a little into the wind, and hit this shot. It was like just right at the flagstick, and it just hit the very back and kind of bounced over. I had to chip it on, but ended up walking away, I think, with par on that one. But it was overall, I hit the irons really well. It was just, honestly, they went longer than I thought. And I think part of that, too, is that Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond ball. That thing just, man, off the long iron, off the irons and tee, it just goes a long way. And it cut through the wind really well. Now, I didn't spin it a ton around the green. With the wedges, I felt it was okay. But the Cobra Gap Wedge, the 3DP Tour Gap Wedge, that I don't think is going to make it in the bag. I think that's going to go. I just didn't feel like, when I hit good shots with it just didn't feel like I had control. It felt like everything released. Everything just released more than I thought. So I don't know if that's going to make it in the bag. I'll probably go back to a standard sandwich style gap wedge. But it was a decent day. I scrambled around to make a lot of pars and a lot of bogeys. Nothing big on the card, but just the 9th hole, just, man, that was such a bummer, because I was like, just make par. I'm good at 39, and I just didn't do it. So on the 8th hole, though, I guess I should be mad at the 8th hole, because I hit a phenomenal drive, and then the hybrid, the Cobra King Tech hybrid, took me a couple shots to get dialed in. But on that hole, man, I think it was 217 front, 220 to the middle, or something like that. And I ended up, and the wind was just kind of like going across, maybe a touch of help. Hit that 3 hybrid off the deck, just left of the flag. It was like there, just left of the flag. Kind of hit the side of the green, the mound, and bounced down. And I didn't hit a great wedge shot there. I needed to hit it firmer. I needed to hit 56 instead of hitting 60, but I just carried one club across the green. So I was like, oh, well, it's there. So I didn't hit a great shot there. So I ended up making a 5 when I was there in 2. And that was a little bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. If I think about it, I brought my 56 instead of my 60, I could have got that thing up on the green and chased it down a little farther to the hole. Instead, left it kind of short and ended up making par. But overall, it was a good day. It was nice. It was windy. but it was a nice warm day. Today is going to be like 54, raining in the morning, and then it should hopefully clear up before the evening. So hopefully get it in. If not, I will. I've got 2 rounds of golf coming up for Memorial Day weekend. I think I'm playing Friday. I think I'm playing Saturday. Saturday with my dad and my brother, so that'll always be fun. And then Friday I'm going to go out and just go play. Maybe shoot some 3-swing challenge. Maybe bring that back over on the Golf DF3 YouTube channel. So I'm going to bring a few clubs. I might actually even bring 2 bags. I might bring a bag to play on Saturday and then a bag to shoot 3-swing challenge. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do there. We'll see. I haven't packed it up yet, but it should be a good weekend. Hopefully, I'm going to go down, see my see some family, hang on my parents, my brother, his kids, and all that. So it should be fun. And the weather's not supposed to be great. It's supposed to be cool, but we'll make the best of it. So 2 rounds of golf. That'll be the first 18-hole rounds I've played since February. I know, which is crazy, but just had stuff going on, stuff to do. So just haven't gone out there and played as much as I'd like. But anyway, we've got a good day today. I'm going to go show why something a little bit different, only because I was trying to figure out what review-wise. I got to go through and do a little research because there were some things I was like, oh, I'm going to review this. And then I was like, maybe did I already review it? And I was like, I don't know. So, but I'm going to do something interesting because I was sitting there looking as I was putting my what's in the bag together for today, and I was kind of going through putters. What am I going to play? And decided on that, which if you go watch the video on YouTube, you can go see my what's in the bag. It's on the Golf DF3 channel. I'll probably post a bunch of it too to my Instagram account at Club Junkie Pod if you want to follow there. But I'll probably post that what's in the bag on there in terms of photos, maybe a little story, whatever. But I was going through putters and realized I have a lot of zero torque putters. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go through and rank all my zero torque putters for the ones I like the best to the worst, and see what everybody thinks in terms of my ranking. So this is going to be my top 10 zero torque putters. Now, I don't own every single zero torque putter out there. I know Even Roll makes one. I don't have any of those. There's a couple smaller like brands that I don't own, things from. So this isn't every single zero torque putter on there, but out of 10 putters, I think I've got like 8 brands. So I think I've got a decent amount in terms of different ones. But these are the 10 that I own. So in terms of ranking the ones that I own from my least favorite to my most favorite or closest to gamer status is how we're going to rank these. But zero torque, if you're not familiar, you probably are, if you're familiar with lab putters and a bunch of other brands. I know Odyssey now has a bunch, and, Bettinardi and all these brands. But basically the putters that the face, when you hold the putter, you're not restricting it, you're not manipulating it, you're just like let the putter rest like on like a table, or you hold it on your hands, like on your fingers, just rest it there, the shaft. The face will balance out where it's always pointing towards a target or towards the hole. And this isn't like a brand new concept. It's been around for a little while. I mean, I remember just in my life in the golf business, Odyssey had that a long time ago with their toe-up putters. Now, a little different design. The shaft went into like the back of it, but it balanced out that way. And then they had their, that was called the back strike, and then they had their toe-up putters that balanced with toe-up. So they've had a couple of those you couldn't give away. I remember I was working for the local rep at that time doing demo day stuff, and you couldn't give those putters away. And now, they'd probably sell 1 million of them if they had them. But those were out there. I remember STX had like a long putter that had kind of a T design, had a face with like a kind of a cone that came over, a cylinder cone thing that came off the back that I believe was weighted that way as well. I had a weird little plastic insert. I think it felt kind of funny, but I know some people love STX. But there's been other models that have done a similar balance point. So these aren't brand new, but that's the gist of zero torque. Now, it's called zero torque or lie ankle balanced, or there's a bunch of different kind of ways around it, and everybody kind of puts their own little spin on how they do it. And I'll explain a couple of them as I pull these putters, that a few people do it a little bit differently, but basically you're sending the shaft into the putter head, usually either right at the CG location or just below it towards the heel. And that typically is what gets you that balance point that goes toe up. So it's, it's a pretty interesting concept. There's as you see on tour, there's a ton of lab putters in play. There's a few other brands out there floating around in terms of being used out on the professional tours. But these are the hot thing. Everybody's looking to try one. Everybody wants to know if it's going to kind of help their putting. And I think, for a lot of people, it probably does. it's putting's difficult, and you still got to read the putt. You still got to hit the right speed. But with the face always being pointed towards a target, that's one part that you don't have to square the putter up. With putters that are traditional, like blades, and even some mallets where it's that toe hang, meaning, again, if you held the putter, like just rested it on your fingers, the toe would point downwards to some degree, depending on the design and the hosel shape and all that stuff. Those, you're basically, as you putt with them, they kind of open up with the arc in your stroke, and they kind of come back to square. And you still have to square it up, because if you don't, and you leave the putter face open or closed or whatever, you're not going to make the putt. And it's something like 2 degrees at 10 feet, you won't even touch the hole. So it's not a ton, there's not a lot of room for error in that, and that's what these zero torque putters are trying to do. So definitely something new and exciting. It's pretty cool to see a lot of brands getting into this. I know people are still asking, when are we going to see the TaylorMade make one, or Scotty Cameron, or whoever. And those, I don't know. We haven't seen them yet, so who knows? They may be just waiting to see if this keeps going. Maybe they're waiting to see if there's just more demand, or whatever. I don't know. But they don't have models out yet. They're kind of the 2 big names that haven't released one yet. But everybody else, for the most part, kind of has a model in their stable. So there's plenty of options there. You can go anywhere from crazy expensive to less expensive, depending on what you want and what you need. But everybody out there, a lot of brands have an option for you to try out and to work with. So these are going to be my top 10 zero torque putters. And again, these are the putters that I have here in my collection, in my basement, in my shop. These are the top 10 for me. I know there are some out there that, if you hear this, you're going to be like, well, where's the even roll? And where's this one? Or where's that one? I don't have every single one. I'll flat out admit that. But I do have a lot of them. I've tried a lot of them. And some of them, for me and my stroke, work really well, and some of them don't. Like, I'm a slight arc guy. I'm not quite straight through, but I do have a little bit of arc in my stroke. I play a short putter, 33 inches. I typically like a little heavier head weight, but these putters, all these ones here, they work fairly well with that. And there's certain putting strokes that these don't work great with. There's certain players that might miss it a little left or whatever, but these are my top 10 of the ones I own, which is a fairly good representation of what's out there. I don't think, out of everything that I'm missing, I mean, I know there's some good ones, but like I said, I can't own everything as much as I would like to. So we're going to start at number 10, work our way up to number 1. And I've got them all laid out like next to my desk here in order. So yeah, we're going to start with number 10. And number 10 might be one of the newest ones out there. So, and of course it's like stuck on another putter. So my whole idea of getting this thing out and doing this is already off to a bad start. But this is one of the newer ones out. It's one of probably the most controversial zero torque putters that's been out this year in terms of the response to it. And when I tell you why, you'll know exactly why. But this is the Odyssey Max putter. So they make a Max 1 and a Max Stripe. This is the Stripe one. I have the Max 1, the Max 1 as well. And this one, of course, controversial because when you look at it, it looks almost identical from the top line view of a Lab DF3. So they pretty much went with a similar shape, almost identical shape, with this kind of flared out face, and then it tapers down, and then the body kind of swings out there and is rounded. So they don't have a hole in the middle that you can pick up the ball like Lab does, but the shape is very, very similar to the Lab DF3. So this was spotted on tour where there was a video that came out on the Odyssey tour truck, and this was like in the background, not meant to be seen, and everybody saw it. And now here it is. We have it. So the Max 1 Stripe. This is the Stripe model. I have both. I'm not going to rank the two against each other because to me they're identical, other than this one has the big white stripe on it for alignment and the other one doesn't. They both have the same insert, same shape, same head weight, all that stuff. So nothing too different. Now this one here, yeah, definitely. I have a DF3, so this one here looks very, very similar. To me personally, I kind of like it without the hole, and I wish the sightline would actually go all the way back, because I think that for me would make this putter maybe a little bit better. But the big thing why this one is ranked 10th, this is kind of last on my list. I just don't feel the stability in this putter. I love the Ai-One face. I think it feels good. I actually think it does work. I don't think this is just, some people claim it's like snake oil, the AI face, but if you don't know much about it, they designed this face with machine learning, AI, and if you were to pull this insert out, the back of it has a bunch of different like topography. It's got, big, raised spots, lower spots, whatever. And basically it's meant to, when you miss it, and you hit it a little on the toe or a little high on the face or low on the face or on the heel, wherever your miss is, it keeps the ball speed consistent. Like the face kind of flexes, naturally. So no matter where you hit it, it's going to keep the ball speed consistent. So your distance control should be way, way better. And I'm not going to lie, I think that there is something to it with this, because I've got like 4 Ai-One putters, and I feel like the distance control on them is very, very good. Like no matter where you hit it, even when you're like, oh man, I caught that off the toe. Like my miss is off the toe. I tend to come a little bit outside and I come down on the ball, hit it off the toe. But those balls tend to roll out very, very similar to well-struck shots. So I think there's something to it. I like the feel. It's a little bit softer. I think this insert's a little bit firmer than say White Hot or some of the others, but it's still on the softer side. But this putter here, it's one of those that when I get in the stroke, I feel like I kind of have to manipulate it for the lie angle. Like I have to look down and I kind of have to get my hands in the right position to make it kind of sit square and sit kind of flat on the ground. I kind of have to manipulate it a little bit. And then through the stroke, it just doesn't feel like the face wants to stay as pointed towards the target. It feels like I can, with just very tiny, maybe little, twitches, whatever, that the face will kind of rotate and all that. And I think there's a roundness to this sole too. When you look at it, there's like a roundness to the, when you look front to back, face to back, when you look toe to heel, there's a little bit of roundness to it. And to me, it kind of moves around when you set it down. When you set it down, it doesn't just sit and stay there. It kind of wants to wobble a little bit, and you have to kind of really get on it to keep it, pointed or keep it aligned where you have it. So those are the big things with this one. It definitely, as you can see, if you just hold it and the weight's pointed, this one, it's kind of pushing on the chair there, so it's pushing it down. But this one here, like I said, the face balance part of it is fine. It's great. It's just that I don't feel like there's as much stability to it as some of the other zero torque style putters. It's just harder for me to keep this thing square. Now, I know this thing's popular. A lot of people are trying it. A lot of people like it. But so this is just for me. But yeah, there's just a part of it where I just don't feel comfortable getting it going. And it's all in the setup. Hitting the ball, all that, it's totally fine. Puts a good roll in the ball. Distance control is great, all that. It is literally just getting it set up. And I just don't feel like I ever get comfortable setting it up to hit putts. So whether they're short putts, whether they're long putts, I feel like I'm moving my hands around to get the putter square and on a good lie and all that. Like I feel like I'm working at it every time I use it. So both the Max 1 and Max Stripe, both of them, it's kind of the same thing. They don't, they just haven't been kind of the putter for me. So really nice, and I'm not saying anybody else is going to find success with them. I think there definitely could be some success there from people, but this one here for me is just not the one that is in the bag. So this is number 10 for me, the square to square Max 1 and Max 1 Stripe. So a good putter, and I love that they actually fixed or they did the head cover right, where they kind of have this like offset head cover and the magnet. They did a really nice job with that, actually. It fits really well. But yeah, so that is my number 10, this Odyssey Square to Square Max 1 and Max 1 Stripe. Now moving to number 9, and number 9 is going to be, almost dropped it there. It's funny because I have 2 putters from these guys. They're 2 different ones, and the one I really like, it's going to be later on in this list. But this is the Breakthrough Golf, the BGT Paradox, but this is the Paradox Blade. So the blade is very rectangular, kind of reminds me of an old Seymour, but BGT has some kind of interesting, you're going to see it better in the mallet than you see the blade, but this is a great milled putter. The craftsmanship's really nice, the milling work, how the pieces all go together, but they've got like a lightweight, kind of like aluminum body, face, all that, and then they have some like heavy weights in the toe and in the heel, and as you notice, the one in the heel is kind of low, the one in the toe is kind of high. And what they're trying to do is basically make, not only is it face, zero torque, so the face stays pointed at the target, but then they also have that weight high and low so that it works with the lie angle of the putter. That way, if you are someone who has a lot of arc in your stroke or anything like that, it'll work with it. So it's a brand of physics that they have, and I guess it's very advanced. I'm not a physicist, so it's not my thing. But this thing here has some pretty cool tech built into it, really cool craftsmanship, stability putter shaft on it, which is pretty awesome. I love the stability putter shafts. They're just extremely stiff, stable. They're really, really nice. So, great build quality, all that. The milling on it is kind of nice. Interesting indoors. It's a little bit loud. When you get it outside, you don't hear the same click. It's pretty cool. I took I've had this out down here, my mat down here, putting a bunch, and then took it to the practice green, and definitely noticed a difference in sound and feel out there, which was pretty interesting. But this one here, the mallet, I like I said, definitely love. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But the blade for me is just an alignment thing. With this one here, when I set this thing down behind the ball and set it up, it's a square block. It's just a rectangle when you look at it. When you look at it even from the bottom there, it's just a straight rectangle. And when you go to line it up, it's kind of like the old Seymour putters. The old Seymours that they had that same way. And I always look close to me. And I think this, with the forward press in it, I never feel like I get the thing square to my target. When it's square to my target, or at least I'm pretty sure it is, it looks a little bit shut to me. Where the other one, the mallet, looks totally fine. It's something with the shape and these rectangle type shapes, because it was the same thing with Seymour. When I would get their little RST alignment where you'd cover the red dot with the two white lines, and you'd just see the two white lines, and that means it was aligned, it looks shut. And this kind of does the same thing for me. And it's even, to my eye, just a touch worse, because that forward press in it, there's like a couple degree shaft lean that's built into the putter head, and I think that just along with the shape just doesn't give me the best look from address. But again, the sound and feel on this thing is really good. I think the stability of it is excellent. BGT with this whole face forward kind of design, it works really well. It's just a matter of alignment for me. I like everything else about it in terms of I think the tech is cool. The feel on it's great. The milling, the work, all that stuff is really good. The feel of it with this really stiff BGT shaft is fantastic. It just looks shut to me at address, so it's a little bit lower on my list just because of that. If I could align it better, I think this would definitely move up, which is, again, why the mallet has moved up. but yeah, this one here, it's a good putter. I think tech-wise, performance-wise, all that, really, really solid. It's just, to my eye, I just can't get it to look square to the target. It just always looks a little shut. So, that's the thing with this one. It's just strictly visual. There's nothing else about it that I don't like. So, just a really solid putter. But the Paradox stuff from Breakthrough Golf Technology, or BGT, there's a really cool putter line. So this is number 9 on my list. And and again, I'm like, this isn't like a negative thing of like, oh man, this one's so bad. It's not bad. It's just, on my list of what works for me and what doesn't, that's there. So we move to number 8, and number 8 is going to be the Lab Golf OZ or Oz-1I. This is a putter that I was so excited for. So this is Oz-1. When we saw it on tour, we saw the prototype, I was so excited. The look of it's super cool. It's got kind of like a traditional mallet, kind of like these curved sides. Really looks really good. I think they did a nice job. When you look inside the cavity here, the milling work is phenomenal. And then they've got this aluminum body, bunch of weights in the bottom, steel face that's got kind of a medium depth milling to it, a medium depth mill. Looks really good. The fit and finish, again, really fantastic. They do a nice job. I mean, these aren't cheap, so they should be nice, and they definitely are. But I was super excited with this one because, one, I love the shape of it. I thought it looked really good. And then with the insert, I was like, oh man, the sound and feel, because all the labs are aluminum. The Mezz, the DF3, the link, I believe, is steel, but all the mallet heads are aluminum. And they feel fine. They're a little bit softer. They've got those horizontal lines milled in it to kind of dial in that feel. They're softer. There's always like an aluminum kind of hollowness to there. That steel just has a more solid feel. So the first thing I did when I putted with this one, it's the best feeling lab putter out there. I'll just say, best sounding and feeling lab putter. OZ Oz-1I, the insert model. Feels fantastic, crisp, solid, puts a good roll on the ball. Everything about it I really like. So in this one here, this is the model with the forward shaft lean. I have the model with the vertical as well. but there's really no difference, and the vertical one's being used by another guy at the office. But this one here, I liked everything about it. The only thing with this one here is that I just don't feel like it has the same kind of pull through the stroke. Like, to me, what I like about zero torque putters are the ones that I do like, which we'll get to in the later. Or not that I don't like this, but the ones that are ranked higher for me. The thing for me is that, like, I want to feel that face like pull itself kind of like through impact. I want to feel that putter like get through the ball and get that thing on line and start rolling and get it going. And with this one here, I just don't feel like it has as much as the DF3 or as the Mezz.1 Max. And then the same thing, like the stability of those two putters compared to this one, it just doesn't have it. And it might just be because of the smaller, more compact kind of mallet shape to it. But I just don't feel like I'm as consistent. You know, when I get this one and I get it out there, I've played rounds with it, all that. I tend to kind of miss it all over the face a little bit. Like, I never get it back on center as much as I do with the other two lab putters that I have. So it is phenomenal. I love the sound and feel on it. And maybe it's an alignment thing. Maybe it's one of those things where I would love like a full length line on it. This was like a super early model. So they didn't even give us like choices on the alignment aids. They just kind of sent them out to get them to us as fast as they could. So yeah, maybe like a full sight line on it might be a little bit better for me. But yeah, the alignment on it with this T alignment isn't my favorite. And I just feel like it just doesn't have the stability of the other ones. And for me, I don't like that as much. I think somebody who maybe has a little more arc in the stroke may like this because it may not fight that arc as much. So there are players out here who I think this putter would be a great fit for. But it's just in terms of my stroke, only that slight arc and all that, I don't hit it as consistent. You know, I don't hit my line as consistently, and I just don't hit the center as consistently with this as compared to the other lab models. So I absolutely love the look, sound and feel off the chart. It's absolutely spectacular. I just don't make enough putts with it, and that's the reason. So not 100% sure, you know, why. Like I said, it could just be that feel, but yeah, I want to feel more of that like face pulling through the target, and then also, you know, a little bit more stability on the putter. So number 8 is the Lab OZ.1 I. And then we move into 7, right? Or that's so number 7. Yep, just want to make sure my number is correct. So it's fun to go through this. I should have just made a list instead of just setting these things out. So number 7 for me is going to be an Odyssey, and this is the one that, man, again, I had super high hopes for, and this is the Odyssey Square to Square Jailbird. Now this one here, when I first saw it, first got it in, super excited. I've always been a fan of the Jailbird. I've liked that putter. The Jailbird Mini was spectacular. All the Jailbird models were really, really good. But this one here, like I said, when the zero torque version, the square to square version came out, I was really, really excited to get it in. I love the Versa alignment on the top, the white and dark navy kind of alternating lines. I think that alignment-wise helps really a lot. I had a number 7 that was kind of like this that I putted really, really well with, and I think the alignment on it's fantastic. This is one that I line it up really well, and I think I like the feel. I actually got some heavier weights for it from Odyssey and tossed them in here on the sole, and it worked really well. I love the feel of it now. It's definitely got a great feel. The only thing is I think there's so much mass behind here that I always feel like the putter, like the back wants to go down and the face wants to come up. Like, I almost feel like during the putting stroke, it's almost like a swing, like I've got a low point and then I come up. Like it's almost like an iron swing in a way. And I don't know if it's just because all the mass behind the head is that, but it's just, it has this feeling of getting down to the ball and then up to the ball. And it's just weird like that. I'm not sure why. It's just got to be the way it's weighted, but I love the shape. I love everything about this putter. If I could just find a way, and maybe it's a practice thing. Maybe it's just a practice thing that I've got to use it more, and it will, I'll find my way with it. But that initially has just been a little bit of a struggle for me to get consistent with it. And I hit it in the center. Like, it's stable. The face stays forward. I like all that about it. It's just got this weird feeling that I feel like I'm going to like catch that back bar, on my way through and impacting, like catch it fat. It hasn't happened or anything like that, but it's just a different feeling. And this one here, same thing. I don't feel that as much of that pull through with the face through impact. It's got a little more of a neutral feel to it. But again, this is one that maybe practicing more, I will get it to move up the list a little bit. But at the moment, it's just a little bit different feel than I typically like, but I definitely can align it better. And again, that AI face, I think, is really, really good. So I think Odyssey did a lot of nice things there. And the interesting thing, too, is that, Odyssey, when they sent me the heavier weights, they were kind of like, watch out, it may close the face a little bit. But I put the weights in, and it stayed perfectly balanced as well. So, heavier weights to play it a little shorter, and it's worked out really well. So I like everything about it. I like even the square-to-square grip on it. I think the square-to-square grip is a good feel. Everything about it is really solid. It's just, I got to find a way to get past that feel of like I said, the pendulum portion swinging down and up as opposed to just kind of straight through the ball. So that part's interesting. When I do miss it, as you would expect, I miss it kind of low in the face. But this one here, I think is close. It's just it's not quite exactly what I want there. So that is number 7, which is the Odyssey Square to Square Jailbird. Now, number 6 is probably the newest putter out of every one of them. So it's the one I have the least time with, but I do really like the look of it a whole lot. I like the feel. I like pretty much everything about it. Like, there's nothing here. So this is number 6. So number 6 is going to be the new PXG Bat Attack ZT. So the Zero Torque Bat Attack, this is the new one. So I have an Allen as well, which actually, wait, I don't have it. My brother has it. Never mind. I was going to say, I'm like, I'm missing one on my list. Nope, my brother's got the Allen. I don't have it with me. This is the new Bat Attack, and this again has kind of that S hosel that PXG has kind of used before with the Allen, but now they've got the Bat Attack and Zero Torque. So this is an option. You can get a pretty traditional mallet, looking mallet with with Zero Torque. So on the bottom, they did change it up a little bit. They kind of took some of the weight out of the fangs there, moved it forward. The 2 precision weights on the bottom, so you can kind of dial in head weight. All the same tech, the pyramid face, all those things. And this is that kind of the front is hollow, and it's filled with that S-core material as well. But overall, really nice looking. I like the milling on it. All black looks good too. I know some of the other Bat Attacks, they've done kind of multi between gray and black, but this one looks really good. The one thing I love about this putter is when you basically set it down, it looks like a Bat Attack. When you set it down, it's got that fang look. It looks like a Bat Attack. Yes, the shaft is going in, into the center of the club head, which is a little bit different. But when you set it down, for whatever reason, like that S hosel, you see more of the head. Like, it's not as intrusive as like the center shafted ones to me, or to my eye. So you see a little bit more of the head. You see the full alignment lines. All that stuff looks really traditional, which I really like. The sound and feel on this thing is really good. I think it's actually a little bit softer than my standard Bat Attack that I have. I've got actually 2 Bat Attacks. The first and the second gen. I think I have 2 of them. And this one actually feels just a little bit softer than those 2. I don't know if it's just because this is a little different design. Like the other 2, I think the fangs on them, the wings, are actually separate pieces, and this is all kind of one piece. I don't know if that helps and reduces a little vibration or something, but this definitely has a little bit softer feel, and I think a little bit softer sound to it. Rolls the ball well, but this one here, it definitely has a little bit more of that kind of forward face pull. Like it definitely feels more stable as you go through the stroke. The face stays on line more than the Allen. To me, the Allen was almost built for somebody who has a lot of rotation in their swing because it was so neutral. Like you could just manipulate it really easily. This one, I feel like you don't have to, it doesn't want to be manipulated as much as the Allen. It's definitely more stable, and it definitely wants to stay pointed more towards the target. So I like this one a lot. I like the M16 shaft in it. It's definitely, got that stiffer feel to it, not near as flexible. It gives it that stout feel of, the face not moving or the putter head not moving through the stroke. The knock I give to it is the grip. It's this slant 1.5R. So like like some of the lab putters and stuff, it's offset, so the shaft goes into it at an angle, so it takes a little bit of that press out of your hands. I just don't like the rectangular shape of it. It just doesn't fit my hands well. I like the texture, I like the tackiness of it. All that is really good. I don't even mind like the size, the diameter. It's just that it's so rectangular, it doesn't fit in my hands well, or it's just not comfortable. If I could rip this off and put put a different grip on it, more of a pistol style shape, something a little more rounded, I think that would move this thing up a little bit in the list. But it is a solid putter. Like I said, the face doesn't pull as much as like the top couple, but this one is really solid. And I haven't had it as long, so I'm just getting some time in with it. But so far, I've really liked it. It's definitely out of the 2 Zero Torques that PXG offers, This one is by far my favorite of the two. So the Bat Attack ZT, or Zero Torque, is there for number 6. And now we move into the top 5. So put that one there, top 5. And in at number 5, we are going with another lab, but this is the DF3. So the DF3, which is, of course, most people's favorites. This is a lab's putter that just, is absolutely killing it. I absolutely love the stability of this thing. This thing feels like when you putt with it, if you were to hit it off the toe or the heel, it just doesn't move. It stays dead straight, stable on it. The feel on it is good. It's got that softer aluminum feel, puts a good roll on the ball, and everything does really well. I just don't align it well. I think it's just something with having these short sight lines on the top. I have a broomstick version that has the full sight line that I thought would be better, and it still doesn't work. I think the hole in it just throws it off for me a little bit. But man, this thing does everything so well. If I could just get it aligned more consistently, this would be a great putter, because I love everything about it. The feel of it through the stroke, like I said, that face just feels like it pulls through at impact, and it stays on line really, really well. Like, it feels like even if you try, you can't get it offline. It just goes. It's that old cliche of just pull it back and let it go, and just let the pendulum kind of do the work. That's what this one does. It's so good at that. I just wish I could find a way to align it better. The other thing I thought about doing is, Slade Golf on Instagram had some little inserts that he built that had just like a single line or blank or whatever that would fit in the hole. I thought about maybe getting one of those and see if it would make. I'd want to like color match it though, so it just kind of looked all one and just maybe had a single line on it. But I haven't done it. But like I said, I love this putter. This is the first one that I had with the press pistol 2 degree. So this is the pistol version of being the off-center grip to take some of that forward shaft lean out, and love the grip. I ended up getting another one of these grips, put it on my Mezz, because I'm just a big fan of it, and it's on the Oz as well. But yeah, this putter here, it all strictly comes down to just aligning it. I just don't get it online as well as I do the Mezz. So great putter. I really wish I could find a way to make this thing align better, because I love everything else about it. It's really, really good. So the DF3 is the number 5 spot there. Now the number 4 spot is kind of, these 4 are really, really close. So right now, I'm going to say the number 4 is the Breakthrough Golf BGT, but in the Paradox Mallet. So this thing here is the Mallet. As you can see, it's kind of got the fangs on it. It's like a number 7 style, just chunkier. And much like the other one, you can kind of see a little bit more of this one, where the weight's up super high in the toe, down super low in the heel. You can kind of see it more with this putter. And this thing here, it's, kind of got a funky look, kind of funky shape to it. But when you set it down in a dress, it just looks like a blocky number 7. Like, it doesn't look as funky as it does when you look at it from the side here, with the high flared toe and the low heel. You just don't see that stuff. And this one here, this was the first one that I noticed the feel was just different. It was different indoors compared to outdoors. Inside, hitting it, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. It's kind of clicky. It's kind of loud, whatever. And then I took it out to the course, and I get to the practice green before I played. First putts I hit, I was just like, is this the same putter? Like, am I hitting it in a different spot? Like, it is crazy, the sound difference with, like, outdoors to indoors. But the thing I loved about this putter is, one, I think the face, kind of pulls the putter head through and, through impact really well. But I just hit the center of the face a lot with this. That was the one thing I kind of walked away and noticed that, like, when I look back, I'm like, how many mishits? It's even on the practice screen, like, how many mishits? It was so few. I felt like this putter is just super easy to get on the center of the face. It just goes through. It stays on line. The feel on it's really good, but I hit the center all the time. And the alignment portion is pretty good. Using the kind of the inside of the fangs is kind of sight lines, and then there's 2 little dots on there. And the dots, I think because of the old Odyssey number 7 days, I think I'm used to those dots being on the top line. But this thing here, really easy to line up. And again, like, you just kind of let it swing itself and putt with it. I made a ton of putts in league with it. Had it on the practice green, was just, if I didn't make putts, they were right by the edge or just by. They were really, really close. Just super consistent. I think a lot of that has to do with just hitting the center all the time. Your speed's always right. Where you're aiming is always, pretty much always there. And, you know, between that, the feel of the stability shaft, and the grip on here is kind of like a smaller, I'd call it kind of like a Tour 1.0 from Super Stroke. It's a BGT branded grip, but no taper on it. And it almost looks like it almost has a touch of reverse taper from the look, but I think that's just an optical illusion with this kind of like slick line through the middle. But it feels good in the hands, and honestly, it's just an easy putter to hit straight. So as long as you can pick the line and hit at the right speed, it makes it easy to just hit that putt over and over again. So a really good putter. I really like this. I've had a lot of success with it so far. This one could definitely climb up the list a lot faster. And like I said, that look doesn't bother me at all, because that address, it looks like a normal putter. So this thing has been really, really good. And like I said, something that it's probably one of the most consistent putters in terms of on-center shots that I've had in a long time. And it's just one of those things I just noticed, you know, time after time. So BGT there comes in at number 4. And I really like the putter. Like I said, it could definitely move up. Now, number 3 is going to be the old Mezz. So the Mezz.1 Max. This was kind of my go-to the past few years. I've had this thing ever since it came out, so it's kind of the oldest, not the oldest, it's the second oldest zero torque putter I had. I had an original Mezz that, again, I gave to a guy in the office because they wanted to mess with it, and he never gave it back because he played it for a bit. I don't know if he's still playing it, but this one here is the Mezz.1 Max, the bigger one. This thing here, I just putted so well with it. I think a lot of it, compared to the DF3, it's all alignment. This thing here, same thing. Pulls through. It's pretty darn stable. Not as stable as a DF3 in terms of when you hit it on the toe or the heel, you may notice a little more of the ball kind of move, you know, either going left or going right or coming up a little bit shorter. But it's still pretty darn stable, and the face just pulls through. And that's the thing. I think with starting with lab putters, now everything else I kind of compared to that same feel of the face going through impact, but a soft feel of the aluminum. You know, those horizontal lines again on there put a pretty good roll on the ball. I know they're not technically made to like put forward roll on the ball, but they do aid in it a little bit. But this shape here, just that kind of number 7, is just comfortable to me. And I think that straight lines on here, the multiple kind of straight lines, whether it's the facets on the top, right near the toe and the heel, or the inside of the fangs, along with like the triple sight line on there, it's just one of those that it's just easy to square up. And I feel like that when I set this behind the putter, it doesn't move, or set behind this ball, it doesn't move. It just sits there perfectly still. I pull it back and I make the, you know, and I putt. It's really kind of point and shoot that way. But this thing has always been kind of my backup, like all the past couple of years. If I'm not putting well or something like that, like I just goes into the bag, and it seems to cure things for a little, you know, for a while. And then I'll, you know, of course, switch out something else and try something new. But this putter here has been kind of my crutch over the past few years, and even last year when I was playing my guys outing, I took this thing out on Saturday and Sunday because my gamer putter on Friday wasn't I wasn't making any putts, and I put this thing in and definitely made a lot more putts with it. So it's kind of still that fallback. It has fallen between other 2 others, but it's still something that I really use a lot, and it still goes in the bag fairly frequently. But yeah, I just like the alignment side of this compared to DF3. It's just a little bit easier to align. So that is number 3, the Mezz Max 1. I guess it's called the Mezz Max 1 instead of just the Mezz Max. And the number 2 is kind of a surprising one. I didn't necessarily love this putter when it first came out, but the more I've used it, kind of fallen in love with it, and this is the Bettinardi Antidote SB2. So this is the mallet version of their Antidote series, which they have an Antidote that is a blade and an Antidote that is a mallet. So the SB1 is the blade, SB2 is the mallet, and this one here just has this big blocky square shape that not everybody loves, and I totally get it. It's kind of got this built-in T alignment. The face is, I believe, stainless steel, and the body is aluminum. This one here, you know, I think because it is so square and it is easy to line up. But the thing with this one, and the reason I kind of like it, it's just different. It actually kind of feels a little bit more like a face balance blade as you putt with it. So through the stroke, all that, it feels more like a face balance blade than it does a zero torque putter. It's just interesting how it does that. Now the face always stays square. It's super easy, but it just has that kind of face balance feel. It's just different than the other putters there. And I don't know if it's just because there's so much mass that's forward. It's all kind of positioned into this face plate. There's no movable weights, anything, so they've even milled out little pockets on the toe of the heel, so everything is center and up front. And maybe that is what it is, but it just has this different feel to it, and it's very comfortable, very easy. I think if you're going from, especially a face balance mallet into zero torque, this probably would be very, very similar in terms of feel. And then the sound and feel and impact. This was number one for me until the Lab OZ.1 came out. This was absolutely better. It's just, it's stainless. It's got that nice soft feel on here. It's got the horizontal line, so it's got that fit face, very soft, easy, nice feel, puts a good roll on the ball. And this thing here, just like I said, it's easy to line up. It's square, long sight lines. That works for me. And then this feel of like a face balance blade stability. Like it definitely wants to go straight back, straight through. It doesn't want to play with any arc, but it is really, really solid. So I want to say like the first putt I hit on this, like I did a 3-spin challenge, I think, and the first putt I did hit, like I made. And since then, it's been really good. I've taken it down. I've put a Super Stroke grip on it, so slightly modified there. But this one here, just a different feel, but I still really like it. So definitely something interesting, but it's moved into number 2. And I didn't think it would. I didn't expect really anything to kind of beat out the Mezz at first, but that I've actually started to really, really like. So the more I putted with it, the more I've enjoyed it. And I've made short putts of that is absolutely fantastic. They're so easy. It is that, point and shoot, let the club do the work, and it just does it. So that part is there. And then number 1, it kind of only leaves one, and this is a putter that I had out the other day in my league, and this is the Dan Carrier. It's a prototype, it's a ZT prototype, as he called it. He now has these, I think, for sale now. Like I think he just brought them out to retail with a few different options. I think you can get carbon steel, stainless steel, different sight lines, whatever. This is a kind of naked one. The sole's a little bit different on this one compared to the new ones. There's a kind of the center section's a little wider, so he can do right and left-handers. But the overall shape and all that has stayed the same. But this thing is super compact, definitely small. It's got kind of a this edgy shape. But when you start looking closely at it, a lot of the facets and things that he's done are really, really nice. I love, this is the carbon steel one. He's kind of got this rust patina on it, which is really nice. The deep milled face. This is the best, to me, this is the most solid feeling one. It's got, instead of a click or anything, it's just got this knock to it. And the ball just takes off. It's really, really good feeling. Sound is really good. You don't get anything high pitched, any clicks, anything like that. But this one here has been really, really solid. And honestly, it may not be as stable as, say, the Bettinardi or the DF3 in terms of like mishits. You might get notice a little bit of that ball not going exactly where you want it if you hit it a little off the toe or heel. But it's overall a really consistent putter. And again, this one kind of like the BGT. It's easy to hit the center. And this one here, I think if you're straight back, straight through, if you have a little bit of arc, either one of those strokes, you're going to be able to play this thing. It's got good pull from the face, much like the Labs, but it's not like crazy. So you can have some arc there. I wouldn't mind it being a touch heavier. I put a touch of lead tape in there. I think this thing was 357. I wouldn't mind to see it at 360. I think mine was 357 when before I put a little bit of lead tape on it. So mine might be at 360 now, but really good. It's easy to line up. You can easily feel when it's square on the ground. It sits very easily there. Now the backs of it is a little bit sharp. So if you're somebody who tends to like drag the putter through, you may catch a little bit of turf with that back ledge. I haven't had any problems with it. But a fairly shallow face, nothing too deep. The head shape is it's probably the smallest out of any of these other than the BGT blade. It's super compact, but it's easy to line up. The top with all the milling kind of turns into this T alignment that you don't expect. But he does have stuff with like different alignment aids now with like a full line. He's got like kind of a heel to toe running line on the top line, but some different alignment stuff that he is offering. This one here, just the weighting on it, I mean, it just goes to vertical instantly. I mean, it wants to go there so fast. So there's definitely a lot of weight there to make this thing point that way. And I built this thing up with a KBS Tour GPS 120, so it's got good stiff shaft in it, and then also another Super Stroke Tour 2.0 Halloween grip on there. But this thing here, playing 33 inches, it just is really nice. It feels and sounds great. It's easier to line up than I thought, having no markings on the top, but it just works really well. And I like the way it's gone now. When I had it out of my league and stuff, I didn't necessarily like make every 30 footer or whatever, but I tell you what, like I didn't have lag putts were easy. It didn't feel like weird to have, you know, that face forward or face pointing towards a target kind of type of feel to it. Short putts, like, you know, with all zero torques are pretty easy, but those lag putts actually were pretty simple. The distance control was good. And yeah, when you hit it, it just feels like a really nice carbon steel putter. So the Dan Carrier ZT prototype, he now has the ZTs. I don't remember what exactly they're called, because they literally just went on his website like today. But this is probably my, you know, if I'm playing a zero torque, that is probably the one I am playing. So those are the top 10 zero torques. So yeah, those would be my top 10, or my ranking of the 10 that I've played or own or play fairly frequently. So that's my top 10 of zero torque putters. So it'd be interesting. What is your favorite zero torque, and what ones have you tried that you like, don't like? It'd be interesting to hear your thoughts. So over on Club Junkie Pod on Instagram, I'll post something with all the putters. Definitely hit me up and let me know what you like and don't like. So that is it. That's all I've got today. It's always fun going through kind of top lists, but that's all I've got there. Again, if you're wherever you're listening, like, you know, subscribe, like, all that jazz. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I mean, just, you know, it does help the algorithm, helps me grow, and then I get access to more stuff to talk about. So anyway, hopefully you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe out there, play some golf, and we'll talk next week.